Hey guys, good Wednesday morning, March 12th, 10:30 a.m. Eastern. Michael Clark here with BAMWX.com. We're going to talk about a massive storm system this weekend, strong low pressure, wind, rain, severe weather, outbreaks of severe weather, tornadoes, large hail, you name it. We've got a busy forecast for the next couple of days and a busy pattern that will continue to go forward here. We're going to talk about it and kind of look at some windows. Are we going to be able to get out there and start getting some field work done? What's going on with the weather? We're going to find out. Share it with a friend. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel for the latest. All right. Let's take a look here at precipitation and the percent of normal of it since really about the 11th or so of January. It's been the last 60 days. And you can see it where we haven't had a lot of precipitation, right? Where it's been pretty dry. This is about 25% of the normal. Up here is 15 to 25% of the normal. Other big dry spots down here to the south as well. And also, it just hasn't been a lot of rain the last 60 days. We've started to sprinkle in some rain here in the central U.S. It's helped kind of eliminate some of the deficit a little bit. It has been overall cooler, except for the last couple of days have been very, very warm. We anticipate the warmth to continue for the most part. It's helped not totally zap everything out of the soil in terms of moisture, but we need some rain. We need some rain, and we're going to get it. And we're going to get it, unfortunately, in the form of possibly some severe weather, too, and some very, very strong winds. This is a look at the precipitation ranks over the last 133 years. The higher the number, the drier. Since 1893. Okay, so you can see up here in the in the northern portion of the plains, that we have essentially been dealing with some of the driest start to the year as it pertains to 133 years on record. It's been just a very, very dry start. It's also been very, very dry and through here, ranking 7th, 8th, 9th of all time driest start here from the first of the year till now. This map has improved dramatically. We've seen improvements here over the last, couple of weeks, but we need to see more moisture work in. Let's talk about that. This is a look at Clarity, which, by the way, you can go to BAMWX.com, top right-hand corner, click Try It for free. You can free trial this. Clarity has a endless amount of tools for ag weather, decision makers, hobbyists, enthusiasts, you name it. Clarity's loaded with a lot of stuff. Don't have time to get into it all. Radar's quiet right now. All right, there's some snow up there to the north, and it's sunny. Check out the satellite right now. It's just not a lot in the way of weather or clouds anywhere, really, for most of the country. It's beautiful out there for now. That's going to start to change. The severe weather outlook starts to ramp up here day 3, an enhanced risk of thunderstorms, the highest probability coming across Illinois, eastern Missouri, northeastern Arkansas, western Tennessee, Kentucky there, and northern portions of Mississippi and Alabama. And that threat will shift east here getting into day 4. So a very busy pattern. We look at the rainfall forecast over the next 7 days, and we can see where the heaviest of rain at least is going to be focused right now across Ohio, Kentucky, Tennessee, Alabama, portions of Georgia as well. Some places there could get over 2 inches of rain the next 7 days. Let's talk about this. Let's talk about the weather pattern in general using the European weather model here. And again, going to try to give you a good idea of timing of everything. See if I can. That's not really working. There we go. I wanted to fix that a little bit for you so you could see it. Here's the storm system. It starts to get its act together. By Friday night and into Saturday, we're going to go out. Here's Friday afternoon. You see a 976 area of low pressure, showers and thunderstorms developing. Incredible wind around this system, by the way. Incredible wind, a very strong low pressure center. That starts to take shape and organize Friday night and Saturday, bringing a line of showers and thunderstorms, severe storms possibly here, and some tornadoes. I wouldn't be shocked if up along the warm front there, closer to the area of low pressure, Friday evening there in Illinois, you've got some pretty nasty weather that you're dealing with. Tornadoes certainly not out of the question there. And then as we get Saturday, you're going to see the thunderstorm coverage really explode here Saturday morning. If we can clear out at all Saturday afternoon into Saturday evening, really start to get concerned. A secondary area of low pressure would try to develop there in western Kentucky. Heavy rains up into the Ohio Valley yet again. And the potential for the severe weather to outbreak down there Saturday evening. Again, you can see these darker returns. Some of these may be looking a little bit more cellular, if you will. Our concern is a really significant outbreak of severe weather there. And not only that, during the day Saturday and Sunday is just the amount of wind we're going to be dealing with in the Great Lakes. I mean, you've got all but a low pressure center that normally has the pressure of some type of hurricane. All right, so it's going to be very windy. The two aren't the same, but nonetheless, strong shot of cold behind it. As we continue to go forward here into later next week, we will watch another storm system very similar to that one. This is out there, but later next week, 20th, 21st, there's another potential for a stronger storm there to come through a similar track. So that is something that we will watch. This is the European Weather Model's projection for total rain. If you are in the area where you see this purple, anywhere in there inside of that, you're essentially looking at the threat of 1.5 inches or more of rainfall being possible. Some localized amounts there, upwards of 3 to 4 inches under heavier thunderstorms is certainly not going to be out of the question. Certainly a nasty event nonetheless. And then I want to show you the winds. The wind is something that we also need to be aware of too, right? This is a look at the 10-meter wind forecast. Again, this is off the European model. These darker blues gusting upwards 50, 55 miles per hour. This is going to be a very, very windy system. So the potential for some significant wind is certainly on the table. But the big thing I'm concerned about is the signal showing up down there in Mississippi, Alabama, and Georgia, especially in Alabama right now. If everything comes together, this could be a pretty bad day, severe weather-wise here, day 4, Saturday into Sunday. So we want to watch that. This is our current severe storms risk forecast. 1 inch plus hail, a few tornadoes, some of them strong, and winds over 70 miles per hour, appearing highly likely right now in the area highlighted here across much of Alabama. Okay, and I'll tell you what, the other thing too, if we go back to our Clarity platform here, if I come over, one thing I get is forecaster insights for my particular locations. This is another thing I'm concerned about, is the strong winds being possible here on the 15th. And that, again, possibly being 50, 55 mile per hour plus wind gusts, not out of the question here with this storm system again. So a lot of impacts coming from that across the board. Okay. What's it looking like the next 2 weeks? Well, we've got week 1 across the top. Okay. Precipitation from normal. We average a lot of rain in March. Okay. We're looking to stay wetter kind of up and through here. Obviously excessively wet down here with the severe weather signal. Very, very warm. Temperatures much above the normal right now. It's going to have a lot of people itching to get out and get stuff done. Really a lack of rainfall down here in the south central U.S. Probably a lot of planting progress can take place down here over the next week. I wouldn't be shocked at all if you could see a lot of that take place. Okay, and it continues into week 2, which is why I kind of mentioned that the storm systems continue to kind of avoid this area, go up and around, and the warmth kind of still hangs around here next week. All right. Strong signal for warmth next week. If I look at the North American Ensemble forecast system, the probability for warmth continues to run 80 to 90% for temperatures in the 8 to 14 day to stay warm. Okay. How about beyond that? How about the 16 to 30 day period? Week 3 and 4 up on the top left here. This is March 25th through April 7th. We're going to continue to target above normal precipitation signals and strong storm systems here in the east. Okay. It's going to continue to remain drier and much drier down through this area, with the potential for some precipitation to return up in here, which is much needed. We really, really need this to happen up and through here. So there's potential for that here in the week 3 to 4 time frame. But we're going to continue to keep an eye on the expansion and the growth of dryness through here as we kind of go through time throughout the next several weeks. Okay, it will, I think, cool back down though. I think we are going to have some influences from the final warming of the vortex and some other things that would promote potentially a cooler forecast across the majority of the grain belt, with the exception of the southern half and the southern third of the country, where it could be much above normal in that time frame, in that week 3 to 4 time frame. Okay, so we're not quite done with the cooler than average weather yet, I don't think by any means, but warm the next 2 weeks. Let's take a look at some things. Beyond the week 3 and 4 time frame, we're looking at the seasonal forecast signals right now. We're looking at all these different years, ENSO evolution, the makeup of ENSO, and we have a pretty good idea on the years we want to use. Okay, and this is the thought process right now, looking at the evolution, the profile of Enso, and the strongest signal for precipitation to run drier is really kind of showing up right here in the analog set for June, July, and August. You look at the probabilistic forecast from the multi-model ensemble, you get a very similar view here with some of the strongest probabilities. Now it does extend further back to the west a little bit. The analogs try to do that, just not as pronounced. But nonetheless, you kind of see the focal point of potentially a situation that would be problematic to the growing season as it pertains as a whole. We also see here a similar orientation where the strongest signal is showing up for above normal temperatures and heat. Similar orientation there in the multi-model ensemble. Potential for not as much heat east. There can be some fronts, especially southeast. There can be some fronts and some rain systems that will allow for moisture to work in. But the bigger picture I think I'm focused on right now for this particular growing season is the development of probably a dome, a high pressure center over here that's going to set up shop for up and over the top thunderstorm clusters and bouts of heat that you're dealing with in between. Perhaps better rainfall chances east, but also the potential for some thunderstorm clusters to be a bit problematic in that regard. All right. When we look at the official summer forecast product right now, top left, note we're forecasting yields as well. Right now, our problem spot, obviously, it looks to be the western half of the grain belt. The garden spot looks to be the eastern half, or the eastern third of the grain belt, if you will. The biggest heat concerns are going to come where it's going to be the most driest with the much above normal temperature signal here. But note our corn forecast coming in at a 178.5. That's 5 points below trend. All right, the analogs are a 179. We're forecasting a below health crop this year for sure in the corn. Soybeans were below trend as well, all things considered. And we're also forecasting a pretty hot summer. All right, we're forecasting 1,000 CDDs, very close to last year's 1,059, not quite as high. Here's what that looks like. When we look at the weather patterns and the yields, the years we're looking at that present the most problems, obviously, are years like 11, 12, and 13. And again, 2021 presented its fair share of problems too. The only year that had a really big, nice, healthy corn crop was 2017. It is a year. These other years were at or barely above trend. 11, 12, and 13 were just not great years for the growing. And it's a very similar era right now. Enso-wise, climate period-wise, very similar to this. So I do have concerns for potentially a larger scale, drier growing season that can present problems. It's March. Things can change. That's the idea right now. We want to keep you updated on that. So keep checking back. Again, we'll do these weekly throughout the growing season. There's going to be some potential to get some work done here in the coming weeks in the central and south central grain belt. Harder to do, especially in the east right now, as we're going to get a couple of bouts of big storm systems that are going to make the grounds pretty wet. So we'll keep you posted. Make sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel for the latest. And don't forget, check out bamwx.com. Top right-hand corner. You can check out free trials right now. Talk to you soon.